Hey guys, welcome to Pepcoding. In today's lecture, we are going to solve this problem. Smallest subarray with all occurrences of the most frequent element. Okay, so from the statement itself, the question has been cleared. Okay, so let's firstly let's read the question. You are given an array of integers. You have to find the element with maximum frequency in the given array. Okay, so we have to find the element which is having the maximum frequency in the given array. Fine. Also, you have to find the smallest subarray which has all occurrences of the most frequent element. Okay, note, if there are two or more elements with maximum frequency and the same subarray size, then print the subarray which occurs first in the given array. Fine. So firstly, let's discuss the problem, that what actually the problem is saying. Okay, so first of all, what we have to do, we have to find the maximum frequency, the frequent element. First of all, we have to find the frequent element. Okay, so here we have to make what, we have to make frequency map. Fine. Okay, so let's talk about firstly the question, then we'll be talking about the approach. Okay, so we have to find the frequency first, okay, of the most frequent of the maximum frequency, the element of the frequency which is maximum of the element. Okay, let's talk about here. Let's see, the most frequent element is 5. I can see that 5 is coming here 3 times and 1 is 2. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so we have to do what now? We have to firstly print this. Let's see what they are printing. Okay, output for, they have given an array only. Okay, so a number x representing the maximum frequency element in the given array. Okay, so first of all, we have to print the maximum, the element which is having the maximum frequency in this array. Okay, so I can see from here that there are 2 elements present right now. Okay, 2 elements present right now. Fine. 1 is 2 and 1 is 5. Both are having maximum frequency, but they are equal in frequency. Okay, let's check. 2 numbers representing the start and end index of the smallest subarray with all occurrences of the 5. Okay, so we have to find what? We have to find the smallest subarray, okay, in which all this element is present, but all the frequent, this element is present. Okay, let's see if I am talking about this subarray. Okay, so this is the smallest this is the smallest subarray for 2. Okay, in this subarray all 2's are present. Okay, so I can also say that this is also a subarray in which all 2's are present, but this is the bigger one than this one. Fine, because its length is smaller than this. Okay, so this is one subarray, okay, which is having the most frequent element and all 2's are present. Okay, and this is one subarray. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to print first. So from here you can see that this subarray is smaller than this. Okay, so we have to print this one. Okay, we have to firstly print the most frequent element, that is 5. Then we have to print its starting index, we have to print its starting index, and then we have to print its ending index. Okay, so this is the output format. Okay, so now let's talk about that, what we have to do in this question. Okay, so I hope that you all get this question, that what we have to do in this question. We have to firstly find the most frequent element. Let's say the most frequent element, let's say this is 2. Okay, let's say one of my array, let's say my size, let's say my array is this right now. Okay, now most frequent element is 2. Okay, now it is 2. No 5 is there. Okay, now 1 2 3 4, 2 is coming 4 times, and my subarray will be this. From here, the starting index of my 2 and the ending index of my 2. Okay, and the most frequent element is 2. So and 2, then I have to print starting index and I have to print ending index. So the first priority is to the most frequent element. If the frequency of, let's say there are 2 elements present and they are having the maximum frequency, okay, but they are in equal frequency. Okay, then what we have to do, we have to check which is having the smallest subarray. Okay, yeah, so now let's talk about the approach, that what we are going to do in this question. Fine. Yeah, so firstly for the frequency, okay, we have to calculate the frequency. Okay, so here we are going to make a frequency map, and one is starting index map. See, you will be knowing that why I am creating these 2 things. Fine. Okay, so it's my frequency map, let's say, and it's my starting index map. Here we will be storing the starting index of every element. Okay, so what I'll be doing, I'll be having 3 to 4 variable. That is, first is starting index, I am going to initialize it at 0. One is ending index, it's also 0. One is maximum frequency. Okay, so here I'm writing maximum frequency, it's also 0 at the start. And the length is one more thing. Let's not talk about length right now. Okay, yeah, so I'll be iterating from this in this array. Fine, I'll be iterating in this array. Then what I'll be going to do, see, I'll be checking whether this element is present in my map or not. Okay, so this is not present. Yeah, so my frequency will be what? This is element. Fine, this is element. Let me write it. Here will be element and here will be its frequency. Okay, here will be its element and here will be its starting index. Fine, yeah, so I am at 1. Okay, so its frequency is right now 1. Fine, and element is 1. Okay, and its starting index is what? I'm going to write here starting index also. Wait, 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and 12. Okay, yeah, so I was here, right? Yeah, I was here. Yeah, so its element, the element is 1 and the frequency is 1 right now, and its starting index is 0. Fine, yeah, so I can, now I'm here. Okay, I have to iterate the whole array right now. Okay, so I can from here I can see that I found one array, I found one subarray. One is also a subarray now. So I found one subarray which is having maximum frequency. For now I'll be updating. See, the maximum frequency previously was what? Previously, I'm going to shift it here. Wait, yeah, so maximum frequency previously was 0. Okay, now maximum frequency is 1, so I am going to update it. Okay, now starting index is 0 and ending index is also 0. Okay, my I will be ending index always. Okay, fine, so here my length will be what? Okay, so I am going to tell you one more thing. If I am going to find the length between two indexes, let's say it's 9 and it's 5. Okay, so I'm going to find it. So my length will be equal to what? Ending index. Yeah, so my length will be ending index minus starting index plus 1. Okay, ending index is 9 minus 5 plus 1, and 9 minus 5 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So from here you can see 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so this was the length formula. Fine, this is the very basic thing. Okay, you all know, I think. Okay, so my length is what? My length is also updated. Initially my length was 0. Okay, so now I'm going to update it. So my length is, my starting index is 0 right now, and ending index is also 0. So my length will be equal to what? 0 minus 0 plus 1, which is equal to 1. So my length is 1 right now. Fine, you will also see that why I am using this length. Fine, you will be also watching it. Okay, fine, so now I am at 3. And its frequency is also 3, and I am going to update its starting index also. Its starting index is 0. Fine, now what I am going to check, it is also having what? It's also having this 3 is also subarray. Fine, so firstly I am going to check that it is frequent or not. Okay, so I mean that it is having frequency more than the previous one or not. Okay, so previous frequency was also 1 and it's also 1. So we will be jumping into next condition, that is this subarray making the is this subarray smaller than the previous one. Okay, but its length is also 1, so we are not going to update it. Fine, we want the smallest subarray. Okay, so, and there was one more condition. See, there was one more condition, that was, note if there are 2 or more elements with the maximum frequency. Okay, let's say there 3 and 1 right now, okay, are the most frequent element, and the same subarray size. Okay, subarray size also same, then print the subarray which occurs first in the given array. Fine, so first was 3, so we are not going to update it, whether it's equal. Okay, its frequency is equal and its length is also equal, so I am not going to update my 1. Okay, fine, so now I am going to 2. Now I'm going to check my 2's frequency is 1 right now, and my 2 starting index is 2. Okay, so I'm going to check its frequency is 1, it's equal, so I'm going to check the length is equal to what? Length is also 1. Okay, starting index is 2, ending index is also 2, minus 2 is 0 plus 1, and length is 1, so I'm not going to do anything here. Okay, 4, so I am getting here 4 is 1, and 4 starting index is 3. I am not going to do anything because what? Because its length is also 1 and its frequency is also 1. Okay, now I get 2. Now see, here's the twist. Now I get 2. Now frequency of this 2 has been changed to 2. Now frequency is 2 right now. Okay, 2 is coming 2 times. Okay, so now frequency has been changed. Okay, now frequency of this element is greater than the previous one. Previous frequency was 1. Okay, so now I am going to update it. I have no choice. Okay, now I have to update everything here. Okay, so now my frequency has been changed. My starting index has been changed to whatever the starting index of 2 was. Okay, my starting index of 2 is 2 and my ending index is right now what? Ending index is 4 right now, because I am at 4 right now. I am iterating, and my length will be what? 4 minus 2 plus 1, that is 3. You can see my length is now bigger, but it's the most frequent element till now. Fine, that's why we have done this. Fine, so my length is 3 right now. Okay, so everything is updated right now. Let's see the next thing. Okay, now I'm at 3. Okay, 3 is coming again, so 3's frequency is also changed to 2. Okay, now it's equal frequencies. Okay, so I'm not going to update directly. Now I'm going to check its length, whether it's having smaller length or greater length. Okay, so the length will be equal to what? My starting index was 0, so and my ending index is right now 5. So 5 minus, no, 3 starting index was 1. I'm sorry, I have written wrong here. 3 starting index was 1, 2 is 2, 1 is 0, and 4 was 3. Fine, so yeah, so 5 minus 0 plus 1, and it's equal to 6. You can see it's not 6. Wait, 5 minus 1 was it now? Yeah, 5 minus 1, 4 plus 1 is 5. So 1 2 3 4 5, so it's 5. And we have the smallest sub array which is having the same frequency, so we are not going to update it. Fine, yeah, so we are not going to update it. So yeah, 3's frequency is also updated. Now let's talk about 4. So 4's frequencies also has been changed to 2, and which is having the same frequency. So we are going to check the same thing. We are going to check the length. So 6 minus 3, starting index of 4 is 3. Why we are using this starting index one? That's why we are using, because we want our starting index also for calculating my length, and we are going to check whether its length is its length is smaller or greater than. Okay, that's why we are doing. If we get the smaller length, then we have to update now, right? That's why we are using the starting index map, and that's why we are using the concept of length. Fine, so the length was what? Okay, the length was 6 minus 3 plus 1, which is equal to 4. But length is this length is greater than the previous length, so we are not going to do anything. Okay, now let's talk about 2. Okay, so now we are having frequency of 2 is what? Frequency of 2 is now 3 here. Let's change the pen now. Okay, now its frequency is 3. So its frequency is 3 right now. Okay, now we are getting an element which is having more frequency than the previous one. Okay, so we are not going to do anything. We are just going to update it. Okay, now maximum frequency is 3. Now we are going to update my starting index. Starting index of 2 is 2. Okay, it's also fine. Ending index of 2 is what right now? It's 7 right now. Okay, so we are going to update our ending index also. It's also has been updated to 2 again, but we are not going to write it again and again. Fine, yeah. So now my ending index is 7, and now my maximum frequency also has been updated. Now I'm going to update my length. My length will be equal to what? My ending index is 7, my starting index is 2, and plus 1. 7 minus 2 is 5, 5 plus 1 is 6. Now my length is 6. You can see I'm getting a subarray which is having the most frequent element, and every element is coming here. 2 2 2, every 2 is coming, and its length is 6. Okay, so I have updated these things. Fine, wait. Yeah, so my length is right now 6. Fine, so now let's talk about the other one. Now I'm at 5. So 5 was not here, so now 5's frequency is 1, and 5 starting index is 8 right now. Okay, so its index is 8, so I'm not going to do anything because the maximum frequency is 3 and its frequency is 1. Okay, fine, let's change the pen now. Okay, here, so wait, yeah. So I was at 8 and now I am at 9. Okay, now I get 6 here. So 6 also getting first time here. We are having 6 for the very first time, right? And its starting index is what? Starting index is 9. its starting index is 9, right? So now what we are going to do, we are not going to do anything because our maximum frequency is greater than this frequency. Fine. Yes, now we are at 5, we get 5 again, so we are going to update our 5's frequency. Okay, we are going to update 5's frequency. Okay, but its frequency is also less than the previous one, so we are not going to do anything. Now again we get 5. See, now its frequency is 3. Now its frequency is 3. Now we are going to do what? Now its frequency is 3, so we are not going to do anything very instantly. We are going to check. Now we are going to check if it's having the smallest subarray or not. Okay, so we are going to check now. Its ending index right now is 11. Okay, we are at 11 right now. 11 minus its starting index of 5 is 8. Fine. Its starting index is 8 and plus 1. So 11 minus 8 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. Okay. Now the length of this subarray is smaller than the previous one. Fine. Now we are going to update everything, because see, you can see that we get the smallest subarray here than the previous one. The previous subarray was 6 of the most frequent. The most frequency was 3, and its frequency is also 3, but it's having smallest subarray. So now we are going to update everything. Fine. See, its length is what? Its length is 4. So we are going to change its length first. Then again we are going to update frequency. Frequency is 3. So starting index of 5 is what? 8. And ending index of 5 is what? Whatever we are at right now, that is 11. And maximum frequency is 3 already. Fine. So everything is updated right now. Okay. Now I'll be jumping at 7, and I'll be checking 7 is not. We are having 7 for the very first time. So 7 frequency is 1 and starting index of 7 is 12. So we are not going to do anything right now. Okay. So at last, now we have iterated. Fine. Now at last what we are going to do, we are going to print the output here. Fine. So what we are going to do, we are going to print the most frequent element. Fine. So most frequent element is what? It is 5, and starting index of this frequent element is what? It's 8, and its ending index is what? 11. Okay. So this is our answer. Okay, so now let's try to code this, and you also go and code this first, then maybe you will be getting the right answer, or you'll be having some exposure. Okay, so now let's try to code this then. Okay, come. Okay, so now let's code it out. Okay, so first of all, what we have to do, we have to create 2 maps. Okay, so yeah, so the keys are here integer. Okay, and it's this is the frequency map, so I'm going to name it as HshMap, and the second one I am going to name it as starting index map, HshMap. Okay, fine. Yeah, so we are going here, what we are going to do, we are going to initialize some variables that are, some are starting index, ending index, wait, yeah. So one is starting index, one is ending index, and one is what? One is our length, and length is equal to what? Starting index plus ending index plus 1. Fine. Yeah, and another thing is the maximum frequency. Okay, so here I am going to write the maximum frequency. Okay, so it's 0 right now, let's say. Okay, so the very first thing what we are going to do, we are going to iterate in this array. It is int I equals to 0, I less than my array dot size and I plus plus. Fine. Yeah, so the very first thing what we are going to do, we are going to firstly having this element, whatever we are having right now, element. Okay, and the element will be what? Array of I. Fine. Yeah, so now the first thing what we are going to do, we are going to check whether this element present in my frequency map or not. Okay, if my element, let's say fmap dot find, I'm going to check whether it's present or not. Okay, if it's not, if it's present, then this condition will be getting fulfilled. Okay, so fmap dot end. Yep, so this is my condition here. So if the element is present, then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to update, I'm just going to increment its value. Fine. Else if it's not present, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to put it to 1. That means it's coming it's coming for the very first time, and we are going to update its starting index. So its starting index will be equals to I. Fine. Yeah, and after this what we are going to check, we are going to see if this frequency, if this element is present, let's say. Okay, if it's having more frequency than the previous frequency. Okay, whatever the maximum frequency earlier was. Okay, if it's having the more frequency, then we are just going to update everything. Okay, I'll be going to update my starting index. My starting index will be equal to what? My HshMap's element, right? And my ending index equal to what? My ending index will be equal to my the IA. Okay, and my maximum frequency equal to what? My maximum frequency will be equal to my frequency map. Wait, HshMap of whatever the element is right now, because it's getting its frequency is more right now, and my length will be equal to what? My length will be equal to my it's ending index minus starting index plus 1. I'm sorry. Yeah, so my length will be equal to what? My ending index minus starting index plus 1, right? Okay, so I have updated everything here. Else now there will be one more condition. Else if my HshMap's frequency, that means whatever the element which has came, if its frequency is equals to my maximum frequency. Okay, now what we are going to do? We are going to check whether if its length is equal to, let's calculate the challenging length. Okay, whatever the length it's making right now. Okay, let's say 5 came now, so we are going to check its length firstly. Okay, so how we are going to check? I minus starting index of 5, that means element, let's say, and plus 1. Okay, and if this challenging length is less than my previous length, okay, then we are going to do the same thing. We are going to just update everything. Fine, so here I am going to copy it. Okay, so here I am going to copy it. Fine, yeah, so I have updated here everything. Okay, so this was the only code. Okay, so let's and our output will be equal to what? Firstly, we are going to print our element, whatever the element is right now. Okay, so array of starting index. Fine, yes, yeah, and the next thing is we have to print the starting index of this element, and we have to print the ending index of this element. Fine, yep, so this is it, I think. So let's try to run this and see if it's working or not. Fine, yes, it's getting accepted. Now let's try to submit this and see if all the test cases are getting passed or not. Okay, so this was the very easy question, right? So go and dry run this problem, then you will be having a better picture of this question. Okay, so I hope that you got this question, and if you are having any doubt, please watch this video again, and if you like the video, please hit the like button and please share and subscribe our channel. Okay guys, so we'll meet in the next video. Bye bye, take care, see ya till then.